You are on Tips and Streams with your host, Coca.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Tips and Streams. I'm Kokon, and I hope you're doing well and feeling locked in wherever you're listening from. All right, let's get to the daily picks. I've got 4 NBA matchups on the card today, so buckle up. We're diving straight into the action. The first prediction for today is for the game between the Detroit Pistons and Charlotte Hornets. Monday night in Charlotte. This one feels like a real measuring stick game, not just another box score stop on the schedule. Detroit rolls into the Spectrum Center, sitting on top of the East at 38-13. And the first thing I see is how they win. They turn defense into oxygen. They're swarming passing lanes, forcing turnovers at an elite clip, and protecting the rim like there's a lid on it. When the Pistons lock in, the scoreboard doesn't matter for a while, because the opponent can't even get clean looks to start a run. But Charlotte isn't walking into this one scared. The Hornets are the hottest team in the league right now with 9 straight wins, and that streak isn't fluff. They've gone on the road and handled business. They've won different styles of games, and they're playing with that loose, confident rhythm where the ball finds shooters and the crowd starts to feel it before the fourth quarter even hits. LaMelo Ball has them playing with pace and creativity. Miles Bridges is finishing possessions with force and control, and Brandon Miller gives them that calm, scoring presence that travels. When Charlotte is humming, they don't need perfect basketball. They just need enough stops to let their shot-making show up. Here's the chess match I'm watching. Detroit wants to turn this into a half-court grind where every possession is a workout. They're comfortable winning ugly because their defense creates separation. They just crushed New York 118-80, and that wasn't some lucky shooting night. That was domination, the kind where the opponent is seeing bodies at the rim and hands in every passing window. Even with their offense not always being a pure three-point avalanche, Detroit can still carve you up by staying efficient inside and letting Cunningham orchestrate the tempo. Charlotte, though, can counter with spacing and pressure. They've been letting it fly from deep, and when they hit threes in volume, you're forced to guard higher, rotate harder. And that's where Ball starts dancing with the defense. If the Hornets keep their turnovers under control, they can make Detroit defend for a full 24 seconds. And that's how you drag a defensive bully into a possession-by-possession knife fight. I also respect the spot. Detroit is starting a road swing, and even great teams can lose some sharpness in that first road game after being at home. Meanwhile, Charlotte is back in its building, and when a young team gets a streak like this, the home energy hits different. The Hornets don't have to be perfect. They just have to stay connected long enough to make the fourth quarter tight. And that's exactly where I want to be, in a close game late with points in my pocket. Detroit is the better team on paper, no question, but Charlotte is playing the better ball right now, and their confidence is loud. I'm expecting a competitive game that stays within a couple of possessions most of the night, with both teams trading runs and answering back. Now I'll save my call for the buzzer, like I always do, and here it is. My prediction is that I'm taking the Charlotte Hornets to cover the 5-point spread at home. I'm riding with the hotter team in their own building in a matchup that screams late-game margin, and I want those 5 points with me when it gets tight. Today's second prediction is for the game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors. All right, let's lock into Warriors versus Grizzlies, because this matchup is all about surviving the chaos. On paper, Golden State sits at 28 wins and 25 losses, but against the number, they've been a headache. And I get why. This team can look like a disciplined machine one night, then turn into a cold shooting puzzle the next. They just dropped a 105-99 game to the Lakers, and the frustrating part is they were right there late, but one bad stretch flipped the whole script. Memphis comes in off that 122-115 loss in Portland, and to me, that game was the perfect snapshot of where they're at. They played 3 strong quarters, even built a real cushion. Then the fourth quarter hit, and the offense stalled, while the defense started leaking points. That's been the story too often. They compete, they scrap, then the finish line gets wobbly. Now, the biggest thing I'm watching is who actually suits up. Memphis has been living in the injury report for weeks, and it's not just one name. When your lineup is bare bones, and your rotation is changing from game to game, your execution late gets shaky. Golden State isn't exactly healthy either, and that matters because when they don't have their engine, the entire offense changes shape. Still, I'm looking at one key reality. This game is in San Francisco, and the Warriors at home against Memphis have been a real problem for the Grizzlies for a long time. Here's the tactical angle I keep coming back to. Golden State is a three-point ecosystem. A massive chunk of their scoring comes from deep, and they also lead the league in both made threes and attempts. That's not just a style choice, that's their identity. And Memphis, statistically, has been vulnerable on the perimeter, allowing too many opponent threes. That's the kind of matchup where Golden State doesn't need perfection, they just need volume. Even if the shooting percentage isn't pretty, the math can still tilt the game. On the Memphis side, I respect that they can get scoring from different places, but without their top creator, they're forced into more tough shots and more your turn, my turn possessions. And that's where Golden State's defensive effort at home can matter. If the Warriors can keep Memphis out of rhythm early, the Grizzlies can hit that familiar stretch where the offense turns into quick, rushed looks. That's how you end up giving away a fourth quarter again. I also can't ignore the trend layer. Memphis has struggled badly on the road against winning teams in this division, and Golden State has repeatedly handled them at Chase Center. Yes, the Warriors haven't been trustworthy lately as a home favorite, and I'm not pretending that risk isn't real. But when I stack everything together, I see a game where Memphis has to work harder for clean offense, while Golden State can manufacture points with three-point volume and home court energy. So, I'm keeping the pick off the opening tip, but here's where I land when the clock hits zero. Here, my money is on the Warriors to cover the 7-point spread against the Grizzlies. The third prediction for today is for the game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Los Angeles Lakers. This matchup is tricky on paper because it's a star name game. Without the stars you'd normally build the whole handicap around. No Luka Doncic for Los Angeles, and Oklahoma City is still missing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So for me, this isn't about who has the bigger headline. It's about which team's identity still travels when the main engine is sitting. When I strip it down, I keep coming back to Oklahoma City's baseline. Defense first, pressure everywhere, and a system that can win ugly. Their numbers scream it. They're allowing around 107 points per 100 possessions, best in the league. And that's not a one-hot-month thing. It's the way they're built. They guard the ball, they contest without panicking, and they force you to earn every clean look. Even with SGA out, that defensive spine stays intact. Now, look at the Lakers' profile. They can score, but they're also giving up a lot. Roughly 118 points allowed per 100 possessions in that same rating lens. That's the kind of defense that can survive when you have a reliable closer and consistent shot creation. But with Doncic out, I'm not sure Los Angeles has enough steady offense for 4 quarters against the best defensive structure in the league. LeBron can still control stretches, and Austin Reeves has been a huge lift since returning. But the shot quality gets harder when the opponent takes away your first option and makes every second option feel rushed. And here's the other piece I can't ignore. Oklahoma City already smacked Los Angeles once this season, 121-92. I'm not pretending every rematch copies and pastes, but that game shows the ceiling of the matchup when Oklahoma City's defensive tempo dictates the night. I also like the situational angle. Oklahoma City is coming in off back-to-back losses, and this team has been money bouncing back on the road after a disappointment. The effort level snaps into place, and the defense tightens like a vice. Meanwhile, Los Angeles has been winning, but a lot of those wins have been grinded out, late-run type games. That's fine, until you're facing a team with the league's best point differential and the kind of defense that doesn't give you easy points to survive a dry spell. So I'm going to stay patient, keep my pick off the opening tip, and let the logic land in the clutch. My prediction is Oklahoma City wins this game and covers the 5.5-point spread in Los Angeles. I'm riding with the Thunder to bring the defensive heat, control the possession battle, and pull away late. Today's last prediction is for the game between the Philadelphia 76ers and Portland Trail Blazers. Tonight in Portland, I'm looking at a matchup where the scoreboard story and the betting story can be two different movies. Philadelphia comes in with the cleaner resume and the hotter streak, and I'm not here to pretend otherwise. They've been stacking wins. They just walked out of Phoenix with a tough one, and they've shown all season they can travel and still bring their identity with them. But when I break this game down like a scout, I keep circling the same question. Can Portland make this ugly enough, long enough, and physical enough to drag Philly into a one-possession finish? Because if they can, the number starts to matter more than the standings. Portland's season has been a roller coaster, but at home, they've shown they can punch up when the energy is right. They're coming off back-to-back home wins, and the way they did it matters. They took a hit, stayed connected, and closed with purpose. That's the kind of rhythm a young team can ride for one more night, especially when the opponent walks in with "everybody expects us to handle business" pressure. Now, let's talk matchup texture. Portland's weakness is obvious. They can bog down offensively, and the shooting efficiency hasn't been pretty. They're also sloppy with the ball, and that's a problem against a team that can turn live ball mistakes into quick points and momentum swings. So for Portland to stay inside this number, I need their defense to travel from possession to possession, crowd the lane, contest without gifting free points, and force Philly to earn shots late in the clock. The other swing factor is availability. Portland has been living on the injury report, and key pieces have been listed day-to-day or questionable. If they're missing creation and shot-making, the margin for error shrinks. On the other side, Philadelphia's front court status can change the whole geometry of the game, and the rotation is already adjusted with a major scorer unavailable. What I like about Portland is that uncertainty tends to tighten games, not widen them. Rotations shorten, roles shift, and suddenly you're not getting that clean, predictable flow a favorite usually wants. And here's the part I can't ignore. This line feels short for a reason. Philadelphia has been excellent as a road favorite, but spots like this can get weird. Travel legs show up in the second half, leads get chopped, and the home crowd turns every stop into a run. Portland doesn't have to be the better team for 48 minutes. They just have to be stubborn, connected, and timely. So I'm keeping my pick off the opening tip. I'm watching the chess pieces, pace, turnovers, late game execution, and whether Portland can keep the rebound battle from turning into extra Philly possessions. My prediction is the Portland Trail Blazers to cover the 4.5-point spread against the 76ers in Portland. I'm riding with the home dog to stay within the number, make it a grind, and keep this one in the clutch.